Hi, my name is Tracy Matino, and I'm a certified fitness instructor with a specialty and passion for Pilates. I've been teaching in the industry for 13 years, and I'm currently an instructor at Central State Fitness and Wellness Center in Freehold, New Jersey. I'm here today to give you a 10-minute workout featuring the Pilates method that I love and trust. Some benefits from Pilates are increased core strength, increased flexibility, improving posture, and improving your balance. Pilates has also been known to be a stress reliever. Any fitness level, any person can do Pilates. So we'll begin in a standing position, legs together, relax the shoulders, and begin by taking an inhale up and an exhale down. And again, inhale up and an exhale down. We'll do one more, inhale up and exhale back on down. We're going to do some shoulder rolls. You'll lift the shoulders and drop them down and back. Lift and drop them back. Now, when you do shoulder rolls, we only need to roll backwards because in our lifestyles, we are often in forward flexion over a computer, cooking, hanging over the steering wheel, right? We don't need help going forward. We need help going backwards to help open up the chest. We'll give one more shoulder roll and relax. We're going to work the sides now in a stretch. So take your left arm up to sky and reach up to get some length through that left side. And we'll start to come over for the right side here, right side bend. And then lift back on up, let that arm come down, right arm comes up. Reach tall through those fingertips and come on over. It doesn't matter how far you're going, just listen to your body. And then bring it back up. Now we'll go again, create the length on your side, and then go over. And then lift back on up. And we'll take that right arm up and lift on over and come back up and relax back on down. You'll take my legs a little further apart, hands on the thighs, start to slide down and bend the knees. So with a knee bend, and then you're going to extend. So you're going to straighten out the legs, bend and extend. I'll turn to the side so you can see. This is called a flat back extension. So we're getting work done in the back of the legs, especially up through the hamstrings. So let's bend and extend. Bend and extend. Bend, extend. We'll do one more. Bend, extend, and stay. Let your hands come off your legs and let gravity do its job and let it just bring you down. Let your head go, let your arms go. Now some of us may be touching the floor, some of us may not. That's fine. If you are touching the floor, come up a little bit higher for me and just circle the arms. This is a great stretch and a great release for the low back. And then reverse the circling. Stop circling the arms and start to stand back up, stacking the spine all the way up and relax the shoulders. All right, we're going to come down to a seated position. Okay, so we're in a seated position. You're going to have your feet flat, your knees bent, and we're going to grab behind our thighs for support. Sit up as tall as you can, take an inhale, and then exhale, just start to lean back as far as you can without your feet coming off the floor. And then we'll stack back up. Inhale here, and exhale coming back. And then inhale, and exhale back up. We'll do it again, coming back. So it's like you're curling that tail under, and come back up. Now, if you want this more challenging, you'll take the arm support away and roll on back. You, of course, can keep holding on. That's why I love Pilates. There's lots of options here for every level. Back and up. And we'll do one last time, rolling back and back up. We'll take a stretch at the top. You have a couple choices. You can lengthen those legs and fold over. Or another option is for the hips. Sometimes they get a little tight in that position. It's called butterfly, soles of your feet together, and just pushing those knees open. Great. All right, we're going to take it down onto our backs. So let's lie down on the floor. Our feet are flat, our knees are bent again. Arms are relaxing down by our sides. This is called the bridge. This is really to wake up the back side of the body. You're going to press down into your feet, lift your hips up as high as you're able to. Then we're going to start to lower those hips back on down. Now, if you have some knee issues, you might want to walk your feet out a little bit further because then your knees won't be as much in as much a flexion, or you can walk them in a little bit closer again for more of a challenge. It really depends on how you're feeling. Press into those feet again. Let's lift those hips up. It's nice to open up the front of the body too, and then lower back down. At the top of the next bridge, I'm going to do a little bit of talking, so be up there a little bit. Come on up again. I want you to check into your feet. I want you to imagine that your feet have 4 tires on each of them, and the 4 tires are evenly inflated. What happens when we're up here is a lot of us tend to roll out, so now my inner tires are not inflated as much. So just make sure you're pressing down into those big toes. And this really does activate the calves, the hamstrings, and the glutes. So you're really activating and strengthening the back body. And then start to lower yourself back down. And then we'll draw those knees into chest, which is a nice recovery position, especially for the low backs that may be tight. I like to really draw my knees in and try to curl my tail up. That feels great for my body. We'll bring those legs back on down to ground, arms rest again. This is called the single leg circle. So we'll bring that right leg up. And you're going to draw 5 circles on the ceiling with that leg. So circle around. I don't mind how big or small it is, as long as you feel like you're in control of that movement. Try not to rock things too much around in the hip area. And at the top, you're going to reverse that for 5 more. 2 more. And last one. And we hug knee to chest. And we bring that leg down. We'll repeat with the left leg coming up. 5 each direction. I don't mind which way you start. There are 2 ways. It doesn't matter. Again, just trying to keep your hips and pelvis quiet. 1 more. Let's reverse that for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw that knee into chest. We'll bring both feet back down to ground. I'm going to walk my feet and legs closer together. And we're just going to let those knees drop over to the right as far as they're going to be able to go. And you're going to take your head and you're going to turn it to look towards the left. This gives us a nice stretch through the hip and through the low back. So great release. And then back to center. And we'll take it the opposite way. As knees drop, you'll turn to look away from it. And then we'll come back into center. The next stretch we're going to do, I teach in every class. It's called the piriformis stretch or the figure 4 stretch. You might know it. You're going to take your right ankle cross to left knee. Now this may be enough of a stretch for some of us. If you need more, you're going to have this right knee open up either on its own, or you can take your hand and push it open a little bit more, and it helps open the hip a bit. And you can also flex this right foot, which will increase the stretch. This is opening the hip, and then the second part is working the piriformis muscle, which is a smaller muscle down by the buttocks there. The second part is going to happen now. The grounded leg is going to lift up either on its own, or you're going to take your hands behind your thigh and pull it in, and then relax that head back down. And I felt that stretch immediately go around back. And taking the opportunity while you're here to just take a nice breath in and a breath out. We don't want to rush through stretching. It really is important in our lives to get that stretching in. And nobody really wants to take the time to do it. Let's relax down and release. We'll switch sides. Left ankle crossing to right knee, using my knee on its own or helping it with the hand to open it, and or flexing that foot to increase your stretch. If you're new to this, you might not need to add all those pieces in. You can add them in as you go along. Now the grounded leg comes up, again on its own or pulling it in. Relax the head down. Take the time to breathe. And we'll release out of that stretch. All right, we're going to come up to a position in kneeling. So you're either going to push yourself up or rock yourself up. We'll come over onto hands and knees. Now, if knees are an issue for you, you can always pad under those knees. Same thing with wrist. You can put some padding or even come down onto forearms. So always options. And if this isn't good for any of it, you just sit this part out and that's fine. You just do another stretch you might know. So we're going into something called pointer. It's opposite. So I want you to slide your right arm out and your left leg back. And you're going to lift that arm and leg up into a straight line. Now you may be a little bit wobbly, and that's okay because this is a stability exercise. And then you'll bring that arm and leg back down. And then we'll do the other side. Left arm, right leg, come back and lift up to that straight line. We'll hold it there. Again, you're probably going to discover there may be a side that feels better or feels stronger, and that's often the case. And come back down. We're going to go through it again, but I just want you to double check into something. Make sure your shoulder and wrist are aligned and that your hip and your knee are aligned. You want to imagine you're a table and you have your four corners. You don't want to be too far back or too far forward. So just check your alignment. Left side, right arm and left leg. Lift it up and hold. The longer you hold it, the harder it's going to be. You want to think of belly button drawing up to your spine, and then bring that back down. And then left arm and right leg. And we lift that up and we hold. And we'll put it back down. And recovery position is called child's pose. It's sitting hips back to heels if your body allows. And you can slide your arms forward. Now this may not be great for some of our shoulders, so if not, you can take your arms behind and let your head come down to ground or towards the ground. We'll come back up onto all fours, hands and knees. And this is a great stretch for the spine called the cat-cow. So you're going to round up your spine like an angry cat. Look toward your navel. And then we'll release out into the cow. And again, rounding up. So this is our flexion for the spine. And now for the cow, this is our extension for the spine. We'll do it one more each way. Round up. Look towards your navel, push to the ground, push your hands into the ground, and then we release. And you might like one way over the other. All right, and then come back in. We'll have a seat, and we're going to sit in what we call the butterfly position. So soles of feet are together, and your feet can be as far out or as close in as feels comfortable for you. You'll figure out, again, what works. What works for me may not work for you. Going to try to push those knees down and feel like you're growing tall through the top of your head. And then we'll take our hands and start to slide forward. Get to where you can. Let the head go down and then start to slide back in and stack back up. And again, chin to chest, we'll start to slide forward and slide back in and stack back up. Relax here. Just take ear to shoulder, not shoulder to ear. Ear to shoulder and back up. And then other side. Back on up. And I thank you for joining me today.